my dear friends and masters. I welcome you all to the session 2 of Becoming Supernatural by Mr. Vamsi Krishna. We all heard a wonderful session from him about the belief patterns and especially about the negative beings and negative energies. Absolutely, as he said us, people always think about positive and speak about positive. He mentioned a word. Until and unless you don't understand what is negative, how can you be out of it? So he made a wonderful presentation about all the different negative patterns. So today he is with us to tell us more about becoming supernatural. Thank you, Vamsi Krishna. So we were very glad that you had a very great session yesterday. A lot of people came up with their own situations, especially with the health reasons, and they wanted to get cured with that. So your answers were absolutely wonderful. So I welcome Padmashri Karthikeyan sir. So thank you, sir. So we are happy that you are here with us for the day 2 also.
Yes, it's a busy day again today, but it was so good. Vamsi Krishna's presentation was so good. I postponed everything else and came.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
also, Shalini, you conducted so beautifully. I told you about your voice,
Yes. Yes.
Your voice always reminds me of my conversation with Madam Jayalalitha.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Meditation, you can please explain once.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Karthikeyan, sir.
Morning, namaskar. Vanakkam.
Vanakkam, sir. And welcome, masters. So today is the part 2, becoming supernatural. Yesterday we spoke about how our personality has been created and how we have been creating our own subconscious mind and how it has been impacting in our day-to-day life. Today we will be talking little more about the body and about the quantum physics, quantum science, and we'll be talking about the heart intelligence. What is the connection between the heart and brain, and how it is connected to the universal connection, higher self connection. So to start with, we have heard about a great Tibetan master, Milarepa. Even today in the Himalayas, he has his own cave. And he was born and he was living in that Tibetan plateau somewhere 700, 800 years back. There is one great scientist called Greg Braden. When he visited Milarepa's cave in Tibet, he has seen that impression of his hand, it's still there in the cave. And after seeing that, he was mesmerized. And he was analyzing himself, and he was thinking himself, what a great master and what a supernatural powers he has. He just took his hand and just pressed on the wall of the cave, and the wall, as if it is something like a chapati powder, as it's something like a very soft material. The moment he pressed his hand on the wall of the cave, and that stone has created an impression. I mean, his hand was just impressed into the stone of the cave, and thus it has been formed. And when he was about to ask this question to one of his guide, how can he create this kind of miracle? And the moment he got a thought, and one of his guide, he said, only the great masters knows what is the communication between the other dimensional species and other elements of earth. So then he said one more thing. It is that he never thought that Milarepa is different from the stone. He never thought that Milarepa is different from the nature. He never thought himself that he is a separate from rest of the nature. He thought that he is part of the nature. The moment he realized that stone is part of him and he is part of that stone. That moment, what happened? The communication between the stone, between the stone and Milarepa has started. The moment he just pressed and he just thought to push his hand towards, automatically it has become so malleable. The stone has become so malleable and it has become so soft, and just like that, it took the impression. After seeing today Milarepa's impression there, Dr. Greg Braden, he was thinking what kind of mindset he would be having and what kind of faculties within the physical body or within the mind within the invisible bodies, what kind of faculty you should be having, and to develop that faculty, what kind of practice you should be undergoing. To develop that practice, what kind of master you will be having, and what kind of environment you will be having around him to become something supernatural. But when we see this kind of miraculous things, we may have it's something some fake or somebody would have been done some sculpturing or carving, and we don't believe because that ideology, that the concept of a quantum sense or the concept of supernatural abilities, it is not fitting in our logic. So we can't even think about all those things because it is not there in our knowing. It is not there in the information what we collected from the day one till now. So from the day one till now, we have been living in this hostile environment, and we have been collecting a lot of information related to the hostile society, about their conversation, about their ideology, about their behaviors, about their perception, about their belief systems, and we have collected everybody's belief system, and we have, with that belief system, we have cooked up our own personality, and we have become just the reflection of many people, in our life, whomever we have come across. So do we have that kind of faculties in our system, or in our body, or in our spiritual bodies, or in our higher bodies? Yes, we have. But what is the why we are not able to reach that, and what is lacking in us to achieve that state of higher thinking? What is lacking in us to achieve, not realizing that we are the quantum, that we are the God, that we are the part of the universal intelligence? Only thing is there the knowledge, practice of meditation. We have been addicted. We have been completely conditioned to the belief system what we find in the society, and we have not able to think beyond all those things. So, and with the little knowledge what we have, we are not able to come out of this so-called limitations. So that is because of these things we are not able to see further. How to come out? How to break this belief system, and how to come out of this belief system, and so that we can understand our own supernatural abilities. So for that, only thing is through meditation we can do that. And before that, we need to understand what is quantum science. I'll share a small. So today, we are talking about this book, Becoming Supernatural, by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And if we see from energy to matter, actually in our school days, we have studied the structure of an atom, that there will be a nucleus in the center of the atom, and electrons, protons, neutrons, and photons will be circulating around the nucleus as a solar system. And that is what we found. But the quantum physics, after the birth of quantum science, after introducing this quantum science by Max Planck, he with the help of electron microscope, he has discovered there is nothing called electrons, protons, neutrons like a solar system, what we have studied in the school. It is something like this, the quantum atom, what you see on the screen. There is a nucleus in the center, and all around you can see the electron cloud. And if you see in this picture, the ratio compared to the outer structure of an atom to the empty space within the atom, the empty space within the atom is almost equal to 99.9999% empty. Empty means it does not mean it's empty. Empty means there is energy. That empty space is nothing but the energy of electron. You can see the energy in form of an electron cloud. And the surface, outer surface of an atom, the outer cell of an atom that we can see with our physical eyes, it is the ratio of that particular outer cell compared to the emptiness in the atom is just very, very negligible percentage. It's it is like something 0.00001%. So whatever we see ourselves in the mirror is nothing but the physical matter, and it's just with the physical matter, and we have identified ourselves as a physical matter. We don't even know that we are the energy, that we are the energy being. So what we see ourselves in the mirror is just negligible. The percentage of the whole physical body what we see is equal to 0.00001%. And what we have not realized so far, what we have not realized us as an energy beings, what we have not identified ourselves as an energy being, the amount of energy within the body is almost like 99.999%. It means that almost it's 100%. So technically we are not physical bodies. So we are purely energy beings. If you see this electron cloud, what is this electron cloud, and what is the behavior, and how this behavior is happening in the very subatomic levels. If you see, before to understand the electron cloud, we need to talk about the observer effect. In an experiment, they have identified the movement of an electron in this electron cloud. When one person is observing particular electron in this electron cloud, that electron will start observing the observer, and it behaves like it try to move in a straight line. When an observer is not observing any electron will behave randomly. The behavior of electron is very, very magical. It will appear in one place and it will disappear, and it will appear in the other place. And this appear and disappear happens in the given moment, where at a single time, at a given one single moment, electron is able to appear in multiple places. So it is this electron cloud has got its own intelligence. This electron cloud is nothing but individual universal intelligence. If you go to the next slide, the journey of a physical atom starts in the mother's womb with the combination of two atoms. Later on, it will become multiples, and it will become that group of atoms is called a molecule, and group of molecule, it forms as a chemical, and group of chemicals will form as a cell, and group of cell will form as a tissue, and this tissue, a group of tissue, will form as a heart, or it can form as a brain, it can form as a liver, it can form as all the vital organs in the body. This tissue forms as an organ, and the group of organs, the sum of organs and bones, nervous system, all this forms as a vascular system, and finally the human body is formed. So in this human body, there are more than 100 trillion cells, and every cell has got a number of atoms, and every atom is almost empty. Almost empty means it's full of energy. So if you go from atom to the body, your body has got infinite amount of energy. Are we using it? Are we using it? We are not using it because we don't know that we are the energy beings. We don't know that we are holding infinite energy. That we don't know that we are the individual universal consciousness, universal intelligence. Why we are not able to use it? Because we don't know. Because we have been trapped with the personality. We have been trapped with the personality traits. And when this personality traits, when we are addicted to these personality traits, it will completely block us. And what that personality is holding full of subconscious programming, and that subconscious programming, mostly 95%, we are having thoughts related to the survival chakras. The three survival chakras is Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipuraka. Muladhara is for the safety and security. Mostly it concerned about the safety and security, and the thoughts related, the memories related, and the emotions related to the safety, security, And when we have negative thoughts about this area, automatically the chakra is getting blocked. And second chakra, when we have memories or emotions related to guilt, shame, pain, unworthiness, lack, victimization, powerlessness, disappointment, when we have that kind of emotions and moods and attitudes and belief systems and perception, automatically the second chakra will get blocked. When we have emotions related to the competition, control, impatience, ego, and self, and all these things will block automatically our third chakra. When we are stuck within these three chakras, our energy will not pass through, because our energy is already got stuck. The moment we get any negative thought, automatically these three chakras has been blocked. So we have to transform ourselves, and we have to release, we have to bless these three centers by doing meditation. We have to activate all these three survival chakras. And by doing meditation, when we are receiving more energy, this energy will pass through these three chakras, and it will start getting activated. So how it is getting activated? By realizing that we have this the thoughts which are related to survival instincts, survival things. So when we realize that, and when we transform that negative emotion to a positive emotion, or when we understand that this thought is being there in my mind unknowingly, I have been created this thought unknowingly, and now this is really blocking me. When you understand that, and when you understand the reason why it is getting blocked, so in that moment you can eliminate that particular emotion from the root, so that root cause will not be there. So if you remove the root cause of any emotion, that particular emotion will get, that particular emotion will become powerless, and the amount of energy which was trapped in that particular thoughts or emotions, it get released, and this chakra will get activated. And once the creative energy from the Muladhara to Swadhisthana it goes, automatically the behavior, the perception, the attitudes, the belief system related to that particular chakra, like a belief system related to guilt, shame, pain, unworthiness, victimization, lack. So when we liberate ourselves from that particular emotion, the moment we are liberated, the moment we are set free. So when we are set free, automatically that chakra will get activated. Later on, the energy of that chakra will enter into this Manipuraka. So when similarly the same story happens, automatically the chakra, that energy will get released from all these three survival chakras, and it gets transformed to the heart chakra. If you see, apart from the 8th chakra, the 3 chakras, which are survival chakras, which are energy consumers, heart chakra is an energy expander, and the other 3 chakras, Vishuddha, Agna, Sahasrara, these are all these chakras are related to the higher self. So first 3 chakras are related to the personality. So the other 3 chakras from Vishuddha, Agna, Sahasrara related to the higher self. And the heart chakra is in between, and this is the center of it is a junction between the lower chakras to the higher chakras. And when we start doing meditation, what happens, we get energy, and we get liberate. That energy will start moving upwards towards Sahasrara. But when we are not, when people are not doing meditation, and when people are always stuck in the stress mood, or always addicted to the stresses, different kinds of stresses, they got themselves into the survival chakras. So at the time, what happened, the aura around the physical body will get shrinked, because the aura has got an invisible energy field, and that energy field is getting energy from through sleep and through food. So when we are sleeping, automatically our astral body will come out, and it goes into the cosmos, and it starts observing the energy again and come back to the physical body. So that's how we get a lot of energy in the while we are sleeping, and that energy we are utilizing for the day-to-day activities. And most of that energy has been consumed by the survival chakras, because we have been addicted to these 3 chakras. And the subconscious mind programming is full of majority of the subconscious mind programming is related to the survival. So we get stuck in this 3, and energy got consumed. These 3 chakras are energy consumers. Whenever we feel comfortable, or whenever we feel safe, or whenever we feel relaxed, at that time our heart chakra will start pulsating. When it is start pulsating, automatically we feel more energy, and we feel more light. And at that time we draw more energy from the universe. And because the domination of these 3 chakras, this the energy of the energy received by the heart chakra is not sufficient. So for that, once we do meditation once we start doing meditation regularly, automatically what happens, that energy, the higher energy also has the information. And when we are doing meditation, we have an intention. Now, basically, when we ask people what is your intention for doing meditation, they say, I want peace of mind, I want a good health, I want to have an abundance in life. So when we have that kind of intentions, that intention plus the higher energy will start passing through our energy body, and automatically we get liberated from these 3 chakras, and that energy starts going towards Sahasrara. And when it starts going towards Sahasrara, all the chakras are getting activated, and slowly what happened, our third eye will start activating. This, for example, this slide, the thinking and feeling loop of guilt. This particular slide is related to the 2nd chakra. You can see here, there is a brain picture. You can see a neurocircuits, and one of the neurocircuits has got an intention, has got a memory that I am a bad person and I'm a bad parent. One circuit has got life is hard. The other circuit, did I do something wrong? When we have thoughts related to this, automatically that creates neurochemicals, and that chemicals will pass through the limbic brain. From limbic brain, it passes through the spinal cord with the autonomic nervous system, and finally it goes it starts affecting the 2nd chakra. And when we get a feeling of feeling guilty, automatically brain start what is this, observing the feelings in the body. Again brain starts triggering the associated memories related to the second chakra. Automatically the emotion in the body will start multiplying, magnifying. And when it is happening, when we are caught in this loop of thinking and feeling and feeling and thinking and thinking and feeling, automatically the associate the physical parts which are there located near that second chakra, everything will get start uh, uh, becoming powerless, lack of energy, and it will try to, it will not function in an orderly way. When something when one part starts dysfunctioning, automatically the associated parts of the body also start dysfunctioning. And slowly what happens that it will become like a virus, and it will the whole body will get affected. And here if you see this slide, the body as energy versus the body as matter. When we feel more matter and less energy, you can see the second picture. That is, it's a magnet, north and south. You can see the magnetic field is very weak. The polarity between the north and south pole is very weak. So the energy, so magnetic field of this particular magnet, it will become very weak. Because if you see the three chakras, if you see in this picture, a man is having three chakras. When he is caught in the uh, within the when he caught himself in the within these three chakras, his magnetic field will be decreased. I mean, his aura will be shrinked. If you see the first picture, the first magnet, there all the centers has been activated. So it means that polarity is increased. The magnetic strength of this particular magnet has been increased. The energetic field of this human has become very large, very strong. So accordingly, automatically the energy field around his physical body will be powerful. There are two things. One is personality, and second is higher self. When we are caught with the personality, it means that we are stuck in this survival chakras. So we can't able to listen, we can't able to hear what the higher self is guiding us. So we can't able to receive the higher self guidance. The moment only when we go beyond these three chakras and enter into the heart chakra, then only the communication between you and between you and higher self will establish. Otherwise, there is no bridge. So when we start doing meditation, if you see this in the first picture, when the three chakras start getting activated, the energy, the Kundalini energy starts activated from the tailbone, and it starts going towards the Sahasrara, in a spiral direction. And when this happens, when we start observing our own breath, automatically this energy will start rising up, and automatically you can see the energy field. A torsion field has been created around the physical body. When we create a torsion field around the physical body through meditation, the strength of the torsion field, the strength of the energy, the strength of aura, it will become more and more. The more it becomes strong, the stronger it becomes, the more communication we receive. And our mediumship also will be very strong. And this kind of similar torsion field you can see in an apple, you can see in every element in the nature. You can see the torsion field around the stone, around the tree, around the animal, around anything. Even you can see the torsion field around the black hole also. So this pattern of torsion field it's repeating. It's there existing throughout the visible and invisible universe. And what is quantum? This quantum field is ready to, and this quantum field, when we have a negative thought or when we have a limited thought, and and our heart, when we have a limited thought, and our heart creates an incoherent vibration. when we have a positive thought, our heart creates a coherent vibration. So when we have a negative thought, it means that we are staying with the base emotions. When we are a positive thought, it means that we are staying at high-end emotions. So heart always resonates more with the high-end emotions. So heart will not resonate with the base emotions. I mean, it will not function properly. When we have a negative thought, heart starts producing a negative vibration, and unknowingly or knowingly or unknowingly, we are creating a electromagnetic signature. Electricity represents, brain represents electricity because electrical activities happens in the brain, and heart represents the magnetic field. So with the combination of thought and feeling, thought in the brain, feeling in the heart, with the combination of these two, we are creating a coherent brain waves or incoherent brain waves. If you have a negative thought, you can see in the second picture, incoherent brain waves has been created. If you have a positive thoughts, you can see in the first picture, it's a brain wave, thoughts and feelings in the heart. Both are creating electromagnetic wave, and that electromagnetic signature. So this negative electromagnetic signature will then create a program in the subconscious mind, and that through the subconscious mind is the medium between us and quantum field. So when we give a order to the subconscious mind, then subconscious mind will give instructions to the quantum field, and exactly the quantum field will have an infinite electromagnetic signatures, and the electromagnetic signature which you have sent, for example, if you say the incoherent electromagnetic signature, if you send, and quantum field will find the exact matching electromagnetic signature, and then it will start manifesting in your life. For example, if we have an incoherent brain waves, automatically this incoherent brain waves is related to the three chakras, that are three survival chakras. So automatically it will create a disease in your body. It will create a unpleasant situations in your life. Finally, you will not be there in the given present moment. You'll be swinging between the past and the future and the past. But whereas if you have a positive thoughts, it means that the intention plus high-end emotion. When we are in the high-end emotions, automatically it means that heart chakra will start vibrating. When the heart chakra starts vibrating, automatically what happened? We can create all the pleasant situations in our life. We can create a wonderful health in our life. Once in one of the Dr. Joe Dispenza's workshop, one of the participant, he has developed a tumor in his hand, and he was advised to do meditation for a certain period. After that, self-healing will happen, and everything will be all right. He was told like that, and he started doing meditation, and within 3 months, the tumor in the hand, it has been disappeared. And not knowing this, not knowing the exact mechanism, what has happened, that person has asked one question in this workshop. Then Dr. Joe Dispenza has explained in return, you have created, because you have a quantum field within your body, and unknowingly you have created a tumor by having a negative thoughts in your mind. So that the tumor is a result of your negative thoughts. Now you have changed your emotion from negative to positive. So the positive emotion, the positive electromagnetic signature has healed your body. So the disease, that is nothing but the matter, it has been reconverted to the energy, and it went into the quantum field. And when you ask for a good health, the electromagnetic signature related to the good health, it's already existing in the quantum field. When this electromagnetic signature exactly matches with the electromagnetic signature in the quantum field, automatically the good health has been created in your life. This is a simple analysis. And if you understand this, uh, um, understand that you are the quantum and you are holding the quantum in every cell of your body. Then when you understand that you are the quantum and you understand how to communicate uh, with the quantum field, then you can create anything, whatever you want in your life. So in the soul's journey, uh, activation, heart is very, very important. Even in terms of health also, heart is very, very important. Without even the even a brain dead person, heart functions for a particular time. Even in the mother's womb, if we see somewhere in the uh, fourth week or fifth week or somewhere sixth week, heart develops first. Later on, brain develops. Even in the fetus. So even before brain developing its bioelectrical activity in the brain, heart starts functioning. I mean, has already fully developed, and that heart is highly connected to the higher self. So the heart is not just pumping the blood, and it is supplying the blood throughout the body. Heart is also connecting you to your higher self. So generally in our day-to-day life, if you see our lifestyle, present lifestyle, and compare to the lifestyle some 100 years back, and we don't have mm, competitive world. I mean, 100 years back, we don't have that much of competition what we have today. Even if you see from the childhood in our present lifetime, we are parents are trying to force children to get the very good marks, big marks, and first rank in the school, so that we'll get a good seat in the nice universities. So we'll try to push the students. We'll try to create the moment we push, automatically child will develop a child stress, that it has to learn everything and it has to mug up everything and it has to be demonstrated in the examinations, and so that nice university will get a chance in the very good university, reputed universities, and later on based on the academics will get the nice job, and very good placements. And once we enter into the working environment, there we will get a lot of pressure from the higher authorities to achieve the targets, to to complete the project within the given time. So because of giving lot of pressure, lot of things, what is developing? Are we happy or are we unhappy? We are creating a lot of stress, and we are not even aware, because from the childhood, from the time of we started getting education till we get a job in the office, we get a job in some placement, some companies, we have been habituated for a stress, for a different types of stress from the parents, stress from the teachers, examination stress, society stress. Because when we get a low mark, society, somebody will ask why we are getting low marks and all, because of again stress. And we'll try when we feel more stress related to all these things, it means our survival, we are caught in the survival chakras. From the small age we have been trained to be in the survival emotions, base emotions. And if you see, out of 24 hours, 6 hours is gone for the sleep, rest 18 hours. And 18 hours for small things, again 3 hours is gone. So balance is 15 hours. In that 15 hours, how much time we are spending on base emotions, and how much time we are spending on high-end emotions. Base emotions means survival emotions. High-end emotions means something like gratitude, happiness, powerfulness, confidence. So all these things. Out of given 15 hours of time, we are in a hostile emotions for a more dominant time. Nearly more than 10 hours. Hardly 5 hours is left for the happy moments. Even that nowadays, that too, it's very difficult to find the time for doing meditation, find time to even talk to the dear ones also. So day to day, what is happening? So a lot of stress is developing. Unknowingly, we have been developing a lot of stress, and we are not even aware that we have been developing stress until we get the heart attack. So once we go to the hospital, he said you are feeling more stress. But the people who are having a heart attack, they don't feel that stress because they have been habituated and they don't know that it is a stress. So in these conditions, what happened? There is a very strong relationship, there is strong connection between the brain and heart, and the connection between the brain and heart is the autonomic nervous system. In the autonomic nervous system has been classified into two parts. One is the sympathetic nervous system, and the other is the parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system, most of the function, if you see, if you feel stress or if you see any danger, upcoming danger, or when you are in a hostile condition or in a hostile situation, automatically adrenal glands will start activating. So to activate that adrenal glands, sympathetic nervous system is helping, and it will start giving a lot of rush of energy, so that you'll fight or flight. Something you'll be fighting or you'll be escaping from the situation. So either one of the things you'll be doing. But whereas a parasympathetic nervous system is something exactly opposite to sympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system will try to balance, will try to cool you, will try to make you to understand, will try to equilibrium. It will try to balance the whole physical system. For example, if the zebra is under attack, is under threat by a lion, for example, and it will immediately what happen? The parasympathetic nervous system in the zebra will activate the adrenal glands, and it will try to escape from the lion, to try to escape from the predator. Once it reaches to a safe place, what happen? It comes down to the normal balanced state of being. So to come to the normal balanced state of being, parasympathetic nervous system is helping that zebra to come to the balanced state. But similarly, when we are in a stress, that sympathetic nervous system is giving a stressful signals to the heart. So now we'll see the picture, how it will be. If you see in this picture, in the left side, you can see a incoherence and coherence. In the incoherence, you can see sympathetic nervous system is giving signals, stress signals to the brain. There's some stress signals to the heart. This autonomic, it's a sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system is the part of the autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is being controlled by a middle brain. That brain is nothing but a seat of emotion. So we can call it as an emotional brain. So when we are in a hostile situation, automatically it gives a sympathetic signals. Then automatically heart will start functioning not in a balanced way. Heart will start a dysfunction. So when it starts dysfunction, automatically it is creating incoherent brain waves. When it is creating incoherent brain waves, it means that you are giving an application to the quantum field that you want a disease. As simple as that. So when you are out of the hostile situation, when we are in a very safe situation, when we are in a very balanced situation, when we are in a happy situation, when we are doing meditation, when we are in a very high-end emotions, automatically a parasympathetic nervous system will give a signal to the heart, and heart will become very healthy. And it becomes and it creates a coherent brain waves. So when it gives a coherent brain waves, and this coherent brain waves will create a program with what intention you are giving the coherent brain waves. To that intention, subconscious mind programming is created, and that subconscious mind programming will exactly create what you wanted, what you are feeling inside your body. When you are in the incoherent brain waves, it means that you are demanding a disease in your body. When you are in a coherent brain waves, it means that you are demanding a health in your body. So being incoherent or having a coherent brain waves is purely our choice. Unknowingly, we are choosing to be in an incoherent brain waves because we have been trained in such a way to have in living in a hostile situation, in creating a stress from the school days, and that stress will keep on when you create a stress, and when you keep repeating that stress will become an automatic program in your subconscious mind. And without your conscious decision, without your conscious mind, your subconscious mind is keep on executing the stress signals, stress activities in the brain, and finally that is connected to the heart, and heart is becoming ill health. That is why we have a lot of heart issues. Even if you see the medical statistics from 50 years back and compared to now, especially in the United States, uh, there are heart issues are more like heart enlargement, heart attacks, all these things, heart to failure at very young age itself. Heart, doctors can say how heart can function, but what is the reason? I mean, what is the how? But doctors cannot say what is the reason why heart is getting this kind of heart attacks. The fundamentally the main root cause is there in our thoughts. When our it is there in our what is it, in our emotional brain. So what kind of emotion we are holding, whether it is a healthy emotion, I mean base emotion, or a high end emotion. Base emotion means anger, frustration, jealous, powerlessness, not having confidence, worthlessness, all this kind of thing. Healthy emotions, something like high end emotions like gratitude, happiness, joy, ecstasy, all these things. So you can in the given 24 hours of time, 15 hours are very productive. In that 15 hours of productive time, we are mostly 75% we are in a stressful emotions. So when we are creating that stressful emotions, it means that we are training our heart to function in a disorder way. So while doing meditation, what happens? Our energy will start jumping from lower chakras to the heart. And when our lower chakras is always about selfishness, when that energy starts transforming from lower chakras to the going up towards the heart chakra, then we'll become all the duality emotion, something like good or bad, male and female, big and small, all these things, all these dualistic attitudes, behaviors, emotions, perception will transformed into as a polarity, single polarity, like oneness, like let us help everybody because everybody is like me only. As I have a feelings, everybody has got a feelings. As I have realized that I am the God, so everybody is a God. So everybody is facing a different situation. Let me help. When you get the tendency of helping, it means that your heart chakra is open. When your heart chakra is open, it means that your the mediumship between you and the higher self has been established. The bridge has been opened. And when the moment the bridge has been opened, automatically what happened that your energy will start flowing from Vishuddha, Agna, Sahasrara. Then you are connected to the higher self. So if you see this, when you are doing meditation, when energy crosses 3 chakras and when it get into the heart chakra, that heart chakra is it means that you are coming out, you are trying to come out of the materialistic world. You are trying to come out of your biological identity. You are trying to understand the things which are beyond your physical senses, which you can understand the things with your third eye. So this chakra goes towards the Sahasrara, and finally you have understood that you have been trapped into the so-called personality, and you have understood that you have been liberated from that personality, and you have become purely awareness, you have become a pure awareness, pure consciousness, so that the moment you understand that you are not the personality, you are having a personality, it creates a distance between you and the personality. You can, so when it creates the distance, it means that you are in the present, generous present moment. It means that you are not in the past or not in the future. When you are in the present moment, there your heart chakra will get opened and it will start connecting to the higher levels and higher levels of yourself. So you have been liberated from the personality, and you have been connected to the higher self, and you finally you understand that you are the higher self, and finally you understand that you are the part of the whole cosmic universe. Finally you have understand that your individual universal consciousness has been merged with the universal consciousness, and that is how we become supernatural. It is not that becoming. We are already supernatural. Now we have realized that we are the supernatural.
Thank you, Mr. Vamsi.
Yes.